In order to move your life along, you need to simplify it. Less clutter, more clarity, and more intentional living. Because let's be honest, no one performs well when they are pulled in a dozen different directions. If you're new to this channel, welcome. My name is Dr. Yolanda White Johnson, educator, author, and your personal development mentor here on The Growth Alchemist. Chances are that if you clicked on this video, you are focused on making your life better and improving who you were yesterday. What has actually improved my life the most has been focusing my energy on taking things away from my schedule to give me more time to focus on the things that really matter. In fact, there is a quote that says, "Don't just add to your to-do list, subtract from it." The most impactful days are the days where you say no the most. In other words, one of the fastest ways to move your life forward is to simplify it. Less clutter, more clarity, and more intentional living. Because let's be honest, nobody performs well when you're pulled into a dozen different directions. So today, I want to share with you 9 things that I quit. The first thing that I quit was overthinking. Sometimes we have a hard time doing things because we plan, we try to go over every single detail, and on some occasions, this can be a really good thing. But on other times, it can absolutely steal the joy from any task. True clarity comes from taking action. The quicker that you can close that gap between the idea and the execution, the faster the feedback you get, and then the more progress that you make. The second thing I quit was focusing on things that are outside of my control. Too many of us attach our emotional well-being to things that are outside of our control, like validation. Anytime that you rely on other people, you are outsourcing your happiness. When you focus on what is in your control, however small, you feel more empowered. And this is why the journey is always better than the destination. In fact, when you discover who you truly are, you become less reliant on external validation for your self-worth. And then you take full ownership of where you are and where you want to be. And when that happens, that's when life truly begins. The third thing I quit was making my health a side hustle. When you're healthy, you have so many hopes and dreams. But when you're sick, the only hopes and dreams that you have are to be well again. That's why for me, exercise every day is a non-negotiable. And this is how I see it. 1 hour a day of exercise takes up less than 5% of my time. And when I look at it that way, it seems a lot less daunting. I make my health a priority because if I don't, then how can I be there for others? Now, of course, you don't have to put 1 hour of day of exercise on your agenda or to-do list. It can absolutely be less than that. But the fact is that you have to be consistent. You have to be consistent with making your health a top priority. Consistency always beats intensity. Now, you may not always want to go out and move your body, but you will never regret it afterwards. If your health is important to you, you will make time for it. If you don't, eventually you'll just be faced with no choice but to deal with illness. And that's something that many of us end up regretting in the long run. The fourth thing that I quit was sleeping late. For me, sleeping late throws off my entire day, and I feel like I'm not as productive. Now, please hear me out. Sometimes when we are sick or not feeling well, you may need that extra rest, and that's totally fine. But most of the time, my most productive days start with getting enough rest and getting up early. The fifth thing that I quit was playing small. It means that you have no idea how good you can get unless you try and step out on fear. But what does that really mean? It means that you have no idea how good you can get. If you don't try, you have to step out on faith and let fear work on your behalf. And so what if you suck right now? If you never take the chance on yourself, you'll never have the opportunity to get better. You should let your fear drive you to action. For me, I was on TikTok first before I was on YouTube. For me, TikTok seemed very easy. It was fun. Basically, you're just mimicking whatever the latest sounds are. But YouTube absolutely terrified me. But I had some major changes in my life, and I thought, if I don't take this opportunity to use my fear to drive me to do something that makes me feel uncomfortable, so I took a chance on myself and I used that fear to step out of my comfort zone and make my very first YouTube video. Now, I still have a very long way to go, but I took that first step, and with every video that I make, it gets a little bit easier. It starts with being bold and brave in the actions that you take. There's this concept called regret minimization. And basically, you ask yourself, in X number of years, 5, 10, 15 years, would I regret not doing blank, whatever it is? So for me, it was like, would I regret not starting that YouTube channel? If the answer is yes, then you need to do it. But if the answer is no, that you wouldn't regret it, then let it go. Don't overthink things or try to always follow logic. Instead, that simple strategy of the regret minimization framework will work for you. Because life is too short and too precious to not pursue something that you feel can make you happy. So stop playing small. Be bold, be brave, and play big. The sixth thing that I quit was being around people, places, and things that drained my energy. Energy is infectious. If you spend time around things that are negative, then you'll start to feel negative as well. Now, if you spend time around things that are positive, then you'll start to feel positive as well. You don't have to be around people that pull you down and who don't have time to do things with you that are in alignment with where you want to be. Here's something you can do. Make a list of the things that give you energy, and then make another list of the things that drain you. Which list is longer? And which list takes up more of your time? If it's on the list of things that are draining your energy, then you need to start cutting out those things so that more of your time is focused on the things that bring you joy and give you energy. The seventh thing that I quit was consuming more than I create. Now, if you're consuming the right information, then what matters next is not the amount that you consume, but how much of that information you're putting into action. What are you doing with that knowledge? If you're consuming more than you create, then you need to flip the script so that you are creating more than you consume, because that's where the magic happens. Because when you create more than you consume, not only are you able to have a greater impact on the world, but you're also able to develop your personal brand. And your personal brand is all about the value that you have to offer the world. Ask yourself, how much more have you contributed to the world than we've taken from it? The eighth thing I quit was comparing myself to other people. It's really easy to compare yourself to others. From the moment you turn on your phone, you are already bombarded with all of the visualizations of what other people are sharing. And it looks like they are living their best life. We compare our daily life to what people don't actually see. Because when you open social media, what you get are people's highlight reels. What you should do instead is look to those people for inspiration. It's okay to get curious instead of being jealous, and try to understand what those people are doing that help them succeed. Because when you get curious, you get insights from those individuals, and then you're able to take those insights and put them into action. Putting things into action can help you build momentum towards your goals. So remember, look to others for inspiration and not comparison. The ninth thing that I quit was living a cluttered life. I streamlined everything around me. That helped me to make decisions more quickly. Everything from my phone, I uncluttered it and removed all apps that I didn't use on a regular basis. Having a simpler life or a clutter-free life allows us to think clearer and to focus on the task at hand. It also eliminates unnecessary distractions. I cleaned out my closet and I donated things that I have not worn in many years, because a simpler, more minimal life will empower you to get more done and increase your productivity. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm still very slow when it comes to getting dressed sometimes. But my simplified yet classic wardrobe with staple pieces instead of every trend that comes and goes makes deciding what to wear a simple decision for the most part. So, those are the 9 things that I quit to simplify my life. You'll have more space for being creative and more space to include the things into your life that bring you joy. And isn't that the type of life that we all want anyway?